do you have any motions to present to the court before we set your case for a pretrial?
Well, first of all, can I have a deferred disposition?
Didn't we offer that to you before, when you met with the prosecutor before, and you rejected it?
I don't remember.
Yes, Your Honor. The most recent offer was actually deferred disposition on all the traffic offenses and actually dropping the failure to appear. It was the other way around. She'd pay those fines and receive deferred disposition on those.
Okay, so,
Actually, I thought I was offered to plead guilty on some of them. That's not the same as a deferred disposition.
well, the
Deferred
way,
disposition is like probation.
but how it works on the deferred disposition, you do enter a plea. It can be no contest. You're not found guilty. The case is deferred for a period of either 90 days or 180 days, depending on what the offer is. So it's either 3 months or 6 months. But there is a plea of no contest entered, but the court defers the proceedings and doesn't find you guilty, defers it, okay? So what I'm hearing the state saying is they had offered and deferred on the moving violation, defective taillights and failed to drive in a single lane, and then you were going to dismiss the violent crime severe and failure to appear?
Yes, Your Honor.
And were you going to dismiss the expired registration?
No, Your Honor. So the expired registration and the moving violations would be a no contest plea for deferred disposition and pay those
all
fines.
All three of those violations were going to be deferred dispositions, meaning if she completed the probationary period, paid a fine and the court costs, if there were no other violations during the probation, that the case would be dismissed.
Yes, Your Honor. Deferred for a period of 180 days.
Okay.
When exactly was I offered that? Because all I remember is being asked to plead guilty on certain ones,
Well,
and
maybe that's what you're thinking, but he's saying you plead no contest to the charge, but you'd be on a probation. Okay, that's how you have to enter a plea of no contest to be placed on the probation. It's a deferred proceeding. But if you complete the probation, all three of those cases are dismissed, and the state's saying if you wanted to do that deal, as soon as the probation orders are signed, on the three moving cases, expired registration, defective taillights, and failed to drive a single lane. Let me ask you a question on the defective taillights, though. Has that been fixed?
yes, it was fixed, but the
Okay.
car doesn't exist anymore.
I understand.
The car was
Okay.
junked a long time ago. I
Okay.
think I sent you proof.
Okay.
And as I said, I'd gladly sign the deferred disposition, but I don't recall that was ever offered.
Okay. All right. Well, I think there's just a miscommunication. So I'm willing, the court is willing to do a straight dismissal of the defective taillights, because if it's been rectified, it should be entitled to a dismissal for a $10 dismissal fee. So you pay $10, case dismissed on the defective taillights.
Do I have to cut a new check, or will it go out of my deposit? Because I paid $3,000 to the court.
Oh, you got a cash bond. Yeah, it can be taken out of the cash bond, and then whatever difference will be refunded to you.
Okay.
All right. So defective taillights, $10 dismissal fee as allowed by these statutes. So we'll do that. Number 2, expired registration. What was the state's offer? 6 months
Deferred, but
disposition?
simply paying the fine. My understanding, Your Honor, is that vehicle doesn't exist anymore,
Yeah.
so getting proof that that had been fixed was not possible.
Yeah, we
So,
don't do that, just no tickets then.
right,
Yeah, okay. And then special expense fee was what, $200 plus the court costs?
that sounds right, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there cash bonds on all of these?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, then they'll cover that.
Not the
Okay.
same for everything, but I paid $3,000 to cover all 5 tickets.
Okay. Failed to drive in single lane? Same thing, 6-month probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, 6-month probation, $200 fine plus the court costs. And my understanding is if the defendant accepts that, the state would dismiss the violate promise to appear and the failure to appear. Is that correct?
That was the offer last week, Your Honor.
Okay. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Is that what you want to do?
So could you clarify which ones are getting a flat out?
Let me go back through it, okay? You would be on probation for the you'd be on probation for the expired registration and the fail to drive in single lane. 2 cases, okay?
Okay.
$10 will be paid to dismiss the defective taillights. That one's dismissed, and the state's gonna move to dismiss the failure to appear and the violate promise to appear.
Okay, so what are the costs of probation?
There's no probation costs. The money you posted on the cash bonds will be applied to pay all the fees on the probation. So she wouldn't know anything. As a matter of fact, you'll get back your cash bonds on the violate promise to appear. You'll get back your cash bond on the failure to appear. And you get back your cash bond on the defective taillights minus $10.
So how much am I getting back? All I
Well-
remember is that I paid 3,000 something.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you right off the bat, but you can tell me if you want to do the deal, and I'll prepare up the deferred dispositions on those two cases. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
So I want to make sure I understand, we're crystal clear. You don't want a jury trial now, you want to do the probation, the deferred dispositions, is that right?
Yes, because then if I pass, then I won't.
Okay,
Then I'll only need. Will
Fair
I need to
enough.
come in if I pass?
okay, I'll prepare up the deferred dispositions, then on the expired registration, you're entering a plea of no contest on the expired registration and failed to drive in single lane to be placed on probation.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. Give me a couple minutes, I'll get these prepared for you.
Registration court cost would be $299.33. Are we gonna do this dismissals or the motions?
We can just do straight dismissal. Can you tell me what the head costs on the failure to drive a single
It's
lane?
the same.
$299.33. Thank you. Ms. Lockhart, I think we've got all your cases taken care of. I've signed the dismissals on the violate promise to appear. That case is dismissed. I've signed the dismissal on the failure to appear. And the case also is dismissed on the expired registration. $10 will be taken out of the money you've already posted. The balance will be refunded to you. The other two cases that you're placed on probation for is going to be failure to drive in single mark lane, and what was the other one?
Expired registration.
Okay, expired registration.
So you mean you dismissed the tail light? I'm on probation.
The taillight's the one that got dismissed. The taillight's the one that got dismissed, yeah. So that's dismissed, and you're on the probation on the expired registration, as well as failed to drive in single mark
And
lane.
each of them is about $499 and some cents.
Somewhere like that, yes. So if you want to go out to the lobby, they're going to meet you out there, and they're going to give you copies of this deferral order, okay?
So I should avoid tickets and this.
That would be a good thing. Don't get any traffic tickets.
What are the conditions? Don't get tickets.
The only
What are-
conditions are, you got everything paid, okay? Because you
Yes.
applied a cash bond. Don't get any traffic tickets. At the end of the deferral, sign the affidavit that we will provide to you saying I have not gotten any traffic tickets, if that is correct. And then the cases get dismissed.
Do I have to come in?
You can actually do it by email, or you can drop it off.
We'll
That's in
email,
February?
we'll email you the affidavit.
Yeah,
Okay. So
Okay.
wait till February, because it's 6 months.
yeah. Okay. All right, and before you leave, we're gonna give you copies of the, 2 orders on probation, so we'll meet you out in the lobby, okay?
Okay.
Have a good day, ma'am. Okay, and then, we're still recording right now, so we'll go to the next one. Okay. All right, so at this time, I will call State versus Clarence Anderson Jr. Come on up, sir, and have a seat, please, sir. And for the record, this is cause number 21-48891-01. Excuse me. And this is a charge of speeding 99 miles an hour alleged in a 75 mile an hour zone, alleged to have occurred on or about September 30th of 2021. Okay. So, both parties are here. State is present. Mr. Anderson is here. Do you want me to read the complaint to you on this? I'll just read it. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, before me, the undersigned authority on this day personally appeared. M. Dorsey, affiant, after having been duly sworn, says upon his oath that he has good reason to believe and does believe that on or about September 30th of 2021, and before the making and filing of the complaint, in the city of Eddy's territorial limits, Clarence Anderson, defendant, did then and there unlawfully operate a motor vehicle upon a public roadway, to wit, Interstate Highway 35 at mile marker 318, and commit the offense of speeding, alleged speed of 99 in a 75 mile an hour zone, signed by affiant M. Dorsey and sworn to September 30th by Heather Spivey. Okay, sir, do you understand the charge? The charge is quite simply 99 miles an hour in a 75 mile an hour zone. Okay. To this charge, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Very good, sir. For the record, also, I have executed by Clarence Anderson on November 1st of 2021. You executed a waiver of jury trial, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, all right, your signature's on it. So the defendant has waived the right to trial, and we're here for a trial by judge. All right, so the defendant has entered a plea of not guilty to the charge. At this time, I'll ask the state if you wish to make an opening statement.
Yes, Your Honor. Before we do that, though, just a couple housekeeping questions for you, just your preference.
Yes,
I have
sir.
a couple binders here of potential evidence in the case to avoid walking around and moving as much. I'm happy to hand those over now if you prefer, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay. May I approach the bench, Your Honor?
Yes.
So I'll hand this binder to our court reporter here, and a copy as well to Mr. Anderson's guest. It's the same documents. The only difference, Your Honor, is the one the court reporter has a small manila envelope with a thumb drive in it. That thumb drive contains dash cam footage and body cam footage I anticipate we'll see here today.
That's something the state's gonna wanna play, I'm assuming.
Yes, Your Honor. And I have a separate thumb drive here. I brought two just in case one doesn't work.
Okay, very good.
And the other thing is, I do anticipate we'll hear from a witness today, Chief Dorsey. Just where do you prefer the witness sit whenever he's testifying, Your Honor?
We can probably, if he doesn't mind, just put him right at the lectern here, if you don't mind standing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Will that work?
That's fine.
Okay. And then if you need to turn your chairs around, you can do that. But
Yes,
that
sir.
way, we'll all be able to hear him and everything.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And do you prefer that I remain standing while speaking to the court or seated?
No, you
Do
can be seated,
Okay.
that's fine.
Happy to do whatever's easiest for you, Your Honor.
No problem.
With that, the state's ready to proceed.
All right. Any opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Your Honor, this is a simple speeding case. It's fairly straightforward. On September 30th, 2021, Mr. Anderson was driving down I-35 at a rate of 99 miles an hour. That rate was measured by LiDAR by Chief Dorsey, who I anticipate we'll hear from here today. It's straightforward. The speed limit in that area is 75 miles an hour. We know that Mr. Anderson was driving 99 miles an hour. That's speeding. It's that simple. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Anderson, you've got the right to make an opening statement. It's not evidence. It's just what you expect the evidence to show in the case. If you want to make an opening statement, you can do so. You can waive making an opening statement, or you can postpone it until the state's finished presenting their case. Then you can make an opening statement then. What would you like to do, sir?
I'd like to make an open statement right now.
Go right ahead, sir.
What I want to do, Your Honor, is to contest the validity of this citation. And the reason why I say it is, are we able to put the citation?
Well, I've got it in front of me, so you just.
I just got a copy of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so one of the things is, I think it's a 2005 BMW that is on the citation. Are you seeing that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Also, there's a wrong VIN number for the license plates on this vehicle. And I would like to enter into evidence a copy of my Texas.
Okay, but that's not proper for an opening statement if you're saying that the wrong VIN number or that's not going to affect, it's not relevant to whether or not your vehicle is speeding. And you certainly can bring that up if you want to bring that up on you know, if you wish to present evidence to the court, you can do that. But an opening statement is more like an outline. Just like the state said, their position is police chief was working LiDAR, laser radar, clocked you 99, speed limit 75. That's it. That's short and sweet. It's just a brief opening statement of what you expect the evidence to show, rather than wanting to present evidence. Now, you'll be given that chance after the state presents their case. You can present any evidence you wish. Anything for an opening statement, though? No? Okay. At this time, then, I will ask the state, they may call the first witness.
Your Honor, this time the state calls Chief Dorsey.
All right, Chief Dorsey. And if you gentlemen do want to swing your chairs around so you can see them, that's fine. If you raise your right hand, sir, I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, could you please state your full name for the record, sir?
Michael Dorsey.
Okay, state may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Chief Dorsey, I know this can be a little bit awkward with you standing, me sitting over here. Is that going to cause any problems?
No, sir.
Thank you. And Chief, real quick, what position do you hold in the police force here in Bruceville-Eddy?
Chief of Police.
Okay, can you describe that position for me?
I supervise 4 full-time patrol officers and just oversee the police department day-to-day basis, and also do patrol duties as well.
How long have you been a police officer?
A little over 9 years.
And where did you, I believe it's called the Texas public safety officer certification. Is that what it's called?
Texas Commission on Law Enforcement.
Thank you. I knew I got it wrong. Where did you complete your training for that?
McLennan Community College,
Okay. And when did you finish that? About 9 years ago?
2013.
Okay, great. And how long have you been here at Bruceville-Eddy?
A little over 3 years.
Okay. Could you describe for the court kind of what a day-to-day, what your job looks like day-to-day?
Overseeing the patrol officers for the city, and then performing patrol functions.
And what is a patrol, when you say performing patrol functions, what do you mean by that?
Patrolling neighborhoods, enforcing traffic, enforcing any laws and ordinances that we have, any laws in the state of Texas and local city ordinances.
I apologize, continue, I didn't mean to interrupt.
And then, I could, in traffic enforcement or, patrols, mainly the two.
And would that include laws against speeding?
Yes, sir.
On September 30th, 2021, were you on patrol?
Yes, sir.
And when you were on patrol, did you pull over a Mr. Clarence Anderson?
Yes, sir.
Do you see Mr. Anderson in court here today?
Yes, sir.
Could you please describe him by an article of clothing?
He's a gentleman to my right, and he's wearing a collared shirt and khaki pants.
The record will reflect the witnesses identified the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor. You beat me to it. Now, when you, so I'm assuming when you're on patrol, you're in a patrol vehicle of some kind, right?
Yes, sir. A marked patrol vehicle.
When you're looking for people that are speeding, what kinds of things are you looking for?
It could be any moving violation, vehicle, equipment violation, are the two main ones.
When you saw Mr. Anderson's vehicle, what conclusions did you draw from what you saw?
During that time, I was monitoring traffic on northbound 35 around mile marker 318. Typically, whenever I'm doing traffic enforcement on the interstate, monitoring the flow of traffic, and typically whenever I'm using my LiDAR, I'll target the cars that appear to be moving faster than other vehicles on the roadway.
And did it appear to you that Mr. Anderson's, what you later would learn was Mr. Anderson, did it appear to you that he was moving at an unsafe rate of speed?
Yes, sir.
When you saw this vehicle moving at an unsafe rate of speed, what is the next step? What's the next thing you did?
You used the LiDAR. LiDAR stands for light ranging and distance, so it uses electromagnetic waves to calculate the speed of the vehicle. It's a handheld device.
So I'm going to stop you there. I want to talk about LiDAR in a second.
Okay.
But so did I gather from your question that you used your LiDAR to measure his speed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I do want to take a step back, and I want to get real basic on this. What are the different kinds of tools that you have as a police officer to measure speed of a vehicle?
We have three main tools. We have radar, in-car radar, handheld LiDAR, and then we can also pace the vehicle with our patrol vehicle, meaning that we can get behind the vehicle and pace their speed with our patrol vehicle and using our speedometer.
Okay, and which of those options is, in your opinion, the most accurate?
Radar and LiDAR.
Radar and LiDAR. What's the difference between radar and LiDAR?
Radars in all our cars we have a front and rear antenna that basically uses radio waves to calculate the speed of other vehicles, whether they're approaching you or away traffic or incoming traffic. The only main difference is with the radar, it won't tell you specifically what vehicle you're targeting. It will just tell you if the vehicle that you're calculating their speed, if it's a vehicle going away from you or coming towards you.
So if I'm understanding correctly, radar, kind of one of the weaknesses there is if there's a group of vehicles, it can be tough to pick out which one is speeding.
Right.
Whereas with LiDAR, it's a very specific, you can identify the vehicle. Is that
Right,
correct?
basically with the LiDAR, the best way I can explain it is it's basically looking through like a red dot optic, like a scope or a red dot sight or whatever you want to call it. But it has a small reticle that you can look through, and you can tell what your intended target is, because your dot, the red dot on the LiDAR, is on the vehicle that you intend to see what their speed is.
Okay, and just so for the folks that aren't familiar with the kind of nomenclature of like firearms and red dot sights, mil dot sights, what you're talking about, if I'm understanding correctly, is there's functionally a scope or a window with a marking on it that'll tell you what you're aiming at.
Right.
Okay. And were you using LiDAR when you pulled over, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, sir.
And so you are confident that Mr. Anderson's car was actually the vehicle that was speeding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this LiDAR, is it calibrated? Do you need to calibrate it?
Yes, sir. The manufacturer Stalker, they do an in-house calibration, and then the LiDAR has an internal calibration that it performs every time you turn the device on. It has to internally calibrate prior to you using it. It will let you know if it passes the internal calibration, and if it does not, then the device does not work.
Okay.
So it audibly and visibly tells you whether it performs a pass on its internal calibration.
Okay. And I'm assuming if it does not pass the internal calibration, you don't use that.
Correct.
That system. Your Honor, may I have permission to approach the witness with what is in the binder? It's under tab 1.
Yes.
And Mr. Anderson, you do have a copy of that as well in your binder. Now, Chief Dorsey, I'm showing you what has not been marked. I apologize for that, but I would ask to be marked as
Which
State's
is State
Exhibit 1.
Exhibit 1.
Yes, Your Honor. What is this?
It's titled LiDAR Certificate of Accuracy, and it basically is a certificate from the manufacturer Stalker that they performed a calibration, and that it certified and passed that calibration.
And is this document made in the course and scope of the business of Stalker?
Yes, sir.
It was made at the time of the calibration by someone with knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Is it regularly kept in the course and scope of your business as a police officer?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this time we offer what has been marked as State's Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Any objections, sir? No objections? Admitted.
Thank
State's
you, Your Honor.
Exhibit 1.
Now, Chief Dorsey, so you've got your LiDAR, it's calibrated, you know it's calibrated, it gave you the ping that says it's good to go. You aim it at Mr. Anderson's vehicle, and it showed that he was speeding. How fast did it show that he was speeding?
99 miles an hour is what it was locked at.
Your Honor, may we play the dash cam footage off of that, or at least pull up on the screen, I should say, for foundational sake, the dash cam footage, which I believe is the top one.
Always go with recommended settings.
Whatever box it wants checked, Your Honor, that's the right
Whatever it
answer.
wants to do, let it do it.
Okay, maybe pause this, Your Honor. I want to prove it up before we get coded. Now, Chief Dorsey, do you recognize this video?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's my patrol vehicle's dash cam.
Does it accurately reflect what was going on as it was being recorded? Was it an accurate video camera?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, may we move to timestamp about 1 minute, please?
What do you need done?
If we just move it along to 1 minute, I don't want to have the court have to watch the entire dash cam footage. We're going to skip it in one.
Are you going to move to admit this, the dash cam?
Your Honor, yes, I am, actually. At this time, we offer the dash cam footage into evidence in State's
Any
Exhibit 2.
objections to the dash cam video, sir?
Is there a reason why you're not showing from the beginning, or?
I think that is the beginning right there. So we haven't even started to see it yet, but do you have an objection to this? No objections, okay. So dash cam is admitted into evidence, and then You want it to move, well, do you want to see the whole thing, is that what you're saying, rather than moving it up, pause it up front, just let it play from the beginning, is that what you're saying?
Rule of option complete is obviously he's entitled to watch the entire thing.
Let's
I was
start
just trying
right
to.
from the beginning so we see everything. Okay, let's roll it right now.
Okay, so Officer Dorsey, we'll play this along, and I will probably ask the court to pause it eventually and ask you some questions. But
Yes.
for Mr. Anderson, we'll go ahead and watch it from the beginning.
Sure.
Now, Chief Dorsey, is it safe to assume at this point you have measured the unsafe rate of speed and are in pursuit?
Yes, sir.
Now, as you see here, a vehicle is pulling over on the side of the road. Is this Mr. Anderson's vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, in just a moment, I would ask that we pause this. Something's going to flash up on the screen, and I want to catch it.
Pause now, or,
It'll be at a minute and 11 seconds is the actual timestamp.
okay.
Right there. Okay. And there we go. So, Officer Dorsey, what are we looking at right here?
You're looking at me, well, I mean, you can't see myself, but I'm holding up the LiDAR to document the speed that it captured.
Okay. And can you describe for us what that screen, I see some few numbers on that screen. What do those numbers mean?
The number on the left, 99, is the target speed. To the right, the 1225 is the range, and that was the range of the vehicle, 1,225 feet. Whenever I registered, or when the LiDAR registered the speed of that vehicle.
And what is the speed limit in that part of 35?
75.
And is 99 miles an hour more than 75 miles an hour?
24 over.
Your Honor, I'm happy for us to watch the rest of the dash cam footage. It is silent,
Yes.
and so it'll be fairly boring, but we can watch it if Mr. Anderson would like.
There's no sound?
I don't believe there was.
Normally would pick up your mic and your body cam.
Yep.
And feed in there.
Well, I should have dash cam audio and body cam audio.
And Your Honor, we do have the body cam as well. We'll put that up in just a second.
Looks like it's muted down at the bottom.
Chief, if you want to have a seat, you can sit down while this is playing and relax.
Your Honor, may we pull up the other video on there as well? It's the body
Is
cam
that gonna be
footage.
the, body cam?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, do you have that? Okay, let's pull that up.
And Your Honor, if we could pause this again so that I can
Okay.
prove it up. Officer Dorsey, do you recognize this video?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's my body cam footage of that traffic stop.
And does this body cam footage accurately represent, my apologies, have you had a chance to review this body cam footage before today?
Yes, sir.
And does this body cam footage accurately represent the facts recorded therein?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this time we offer the body cam footage as State's Exhibit 3.
Any objections, Mr. Anderson? No objections. Body cam footage, State's Exhibit 3 is admitted. You may proceed.
And Your Honor, if we could go ahead and, well, I wouldn't mind skipping ahead a little bit, but if Mr. Anderson would like to watch the entire video, we can hit play.
What's that?
Whatever you need to do, you want to speak?
Okay. Let's, how long is it? Is this starting right at the, when you get on the highway?
There may be like 30 seconds.
Okay, well, let's just play it from the beginning. Let's hit play.
Yes, sir.
See what transpires.
Now, Officer Dorsey, just a moment ago, we saw in that body cam footage the mile marker 319. My understanding, where did you initiate this stop?
Mile marker 318, and we stopped just a few feet south of 319, but the violation occurred at 318 northbound.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'm approaching the witness with what is in your binder, Your Honor, is tab 2. It's a copy of the citation. Officer Dorsey, do you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
This is a summary of the citation.
I'm sorry, was this document made at or near the time of the incidents reported
Yes, sir.
by someone with knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Is it kept in the regular course and scope of your business?
Yes, sir.
At this time, Your Honor, we offer what is currently tab 2 as State's Exhibit 4.
Any objections, Mr. Anderson? No objections. It's admitted in evidence.
Chief Dorsey, we see here on the citation, as you said a moment ago, that the incident began or the violation occurred at mile marker 318. Is that within the jurisdictional limits of Bruceville-Eddy?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, we have no further questions for this witness.
This time the state has passed the witness's opportunity now for you to ask any questions you have of the witness, sir. So you can address them directly and ask any questions.
Okay. The first question that I have, Officer Dorsey, is can you take me through the steps once you have identified a driver speeding, and once you have pulled him over? And if I'm not mistaken, you're supposed to ask for his driver's license and proof of insurance. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
As I was looking at the citation, Your Honor, I would like to enter into the evidence that I would like to present. This is my Texas liability insurance card that I'd like to.
What's the purpose of that? You're not charged with the violation of not having insurance, so
No,
what's-
but it's part of the citation. In other words, when you stop somebody, you get your driver's license, proof of insurance. Okay, the next question I have is,
I'm sorry, Your Honor, is this evidence been offered? And if it has, I'd ask the opportunity to review it.
it was offered to the officer when the stop was made, right?
Offered here in court, Your Honor. That's
Yeah.
the question I'm asking.
So you want to offer your insurance card in evidence?
Right.
And for what purpose?
Okay, Your Honor, whenever the officer fills out the citation, which he did, okay, it's under my impression, unless I'm wrong, that he has to take the information off the card, off the driver's license that was presented to him. Is that correct? Is that correct to say?
I'll let him answer that.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. My question to you is there any reason why you didn't use insurance card to write up the citation? In other words, I'm talking about the information that you put on the citation.
Right. So what happens is, I do ask every person I stop for their driver's license and insurance, and I input that information into our computer system. And by him providing a copy of his insurance is just him showing proof of the insurance. But what I normally go off of is what's in the state database, what's in the computer system. So whenever I input the license plate, the registration, and then his driver's license number, it populates everything for me. So I understand what the gentleman, Mr. Anderson, is saying, that there's a discrepancy on the year model of his vehicle, maybe the VIN number, but I believe that to be maybe a computer error. I do verify the information, but that's something I guess I didn't catch.
If I understand what you're saying, I want to make sure you understand. You go by what comes up on the state database, which is linked to the Department of Insurance, and then it populates with his driver's license and comes up on your screen. So you go by that rather than what the person hands you as the information.
I mean, I use both,
Yeah, yeah.
but, I mean, he shows me proof of insurance, but, I mean, so what I'm getting at is someone could show me proof of insurance.
Sometimes people show you proof of insurance and it's been canceled, or they cancel it or didn't pay, and so they may
Right.
not have insurance even though they have a car.
Right.
Okay. And your point, I think, is there's a discrepancy in the year of the vehicle. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir, the year of the vehicle, which is 2005, that's on the citation.
And-
Also,
Okay.
on the insurance card that I gave him, it had the correct VIN number on the insurance card. And I have a question about how does this officer able to come up with this information?
I think you just explained it.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to clarify something. So what I did, I went down to the dealer registration in Waco, and I asked them.
Well, okay, you're explaining things now, testifying, so you need to just ask them questions, and then if you want to testify, you'll be able to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
I went to the dealer registration in Waco, where they issue your license, registration, and I had them.
Okay, you're testifying. You've got to ask them a question. It's got to be a question mark. So ask him any questions. If you want to talk about what you did, you can do that, but ask him questions. That's what he's up there for.
And Your Honor, if we're gonna keep talking about a insurance card, I'd ask at least the opportunity to review it so that I'm on the same page, or that it be entered into evidence so we're not discussing a document that's never been before the court.
Okay. I'm ready for the question.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little attitude here, but this is not really relevant to the citation.
Okay.
He's already explained that he pulls up on his database on his computer and looks what populates up there from the Texas Department of Insurance. So go ahead, but I'm not going to give you much room to argue about this.
Okay. When it pulled up on the database, you took all the information off of the database. That's what you're saying?
Yes, sir?
Okay. What if the information is incorrect? Does that have a bearing on the citation as far as what you write on the citation to give to the driver?
I'm not sure if I understand.
It sounds like you're asking a legal question. I can tell you as far as the court's concerned, if there's a mistake on a digit or something like that in the VIN, that's not going to affect the case. The case is
Your Honor,
you're operating a vehicle, wasn't exceeding the speed limit on this date and time at that location, but if there's a mistake, even a misspelling of a defendant's name is not going to avoid a citation or complaint. Misspelling or an incorrect address is not going to affect the validity of the complaint that's filed against you. If that helps explain it.
I mean, I go by what's off the computer system in good faith, and, you know, I mean, I can say that I don't, every stop that I make, I don't verify every digit of the VIN number. I mean, I make sure the registered owner's name and, you know, basic information matches up and everything. You know, the insurance is in good standing, his license is in good standing, and then I go from there. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time to verify every single digit of every field that populates, but I just, you know, act in good faith and verify what I need to verify so I can conduct business of the stop.
Other questions? I mean, you want to ask them about the radar or anything, or anything dealing with the speed?
no.
Okay. No more questions?
Your Honor, we ask that the witness be allowed to step down, though I would ask
Yes.
to reserve the right to call him on a rebuttal if necessary.
You can have a seat. Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other witnesses or evidence from the state?
No, Your Honor, at this time the state rests.
Mr. Anderson, at this time, the state has presented their case in chief. They've called all their witnesses, subject to rebuttal, and presented evidence such as documentary evidence and, of course, the two videos that we've all watched here today. This is an opportunity for you, if you wish to testify, you can testify. You're not required to testify. You have the right to remain silent, present no evidence at all, and the burden of proof is on the state of Texas to prove the allegations contained within the complaint beyond any reasonable doubt. That's the standard in Texas, the same standard that's applied throughout the entire United States in every single criminal court. If you wish to testify and waive your right to remain silent, I'll swear you in, and you can testify at the lectern. Do you wish to testify, present evidence in your case, sir?
You know what, you already told me that evidence that I want to present is irrelevant to.
Well, I'm asking you, do you want to testify, okay?
Yes, I did.
Okay, well, stand on up and let's get sworn in. You raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding, so help you God? Okay, why don't you come on over to the lectern where Chief Dorsey was testifying, and it's your show. Go ahead, testify.
I'm not sure what the criteria are, Your Honor, for whether a citation is considered valid or invalid. I don't know that, but I feel like that the situation that I'm in, it falls within that criteria. This is just my opinion, Your Honor. And like I said, I don't know what would consider a citation to be valid, invalid, or so I just wanted to come up here and state my case, my opinion on what I think, and I guess let the court decide on what they want to do. And that's all I have, Your Honor.
That's it?
That's it.
Any questions?
I do, Your Honor. Mr. Anderson, I've listened to what you said. You don't, I just want to make sure I'm getting this straight. You're not suggesting that someone else was driving the vehicle, right?
No.
You were driving that vehicle. You were driving down 35. You were driving past mile marker 318
I suppose so.
on September 30th, 2021. And you were driving.
Now you have I got to hear an audio response. Is that yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And you were driving at 99 miles an hour.
That's what the officer said I was driving.
And the officer pulled you over,
Right,
walked up to you, told you you were driving 99 miles an hour.
right.
You're not disputing any of that.
No.
You're here disputing the VIN number on the citation.
I'm here to dispute whether the citation that was issued, the information has to be correct, or you can put anything on a citation
So,
and expect the court to process it.
so Mr. Anderson, you're not disputing the facts of the day. You're disputing the piece of paper that's been offered as State Exhibit 4.
The citation,
Correct.
right?
Okay.
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else, sir?
No, Your Honor.
And just to make sure I understand, I think you're saying it, but not really, that there was a mistake maybe in the VIN number, and that also the officer, it was a different year from what year your BMW is. It was off a couple years or something like that?
No, sir. 2005 is on the citation.
Okay, and what year is your BMW?
2017.
Okay, very good. Anything else, sir?
No.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may have a seat. All right, so Mr. Anderson, I think that's it from you. Anything on rebuttal from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, closing statements, final statement?
Your Honor, this case is as simple now as it was at the beginning of the case. Mr. Anderson was driving down 35, 99 miles an hour to 75. We heard from him today. He chose to testify. He confirmed that he is not disputing the facts of the case. He's disputing the piece of paper. He's ultimately saying what that means, right, is I am not disputing that I was speeding. I'm not disputing the facts. I believe I shouldn't get in trouble because there's a scrivener's error on the citation. As we all know, that's not how this works. We heard today from Chief Dorsey who pulled over Mr. Anderson. He confirms Mr. Anderson's ID. He confirms the venue where the offense occurred. He showed us on the dash cam footage what the LiDAR showed at the time. We know the LiDAR was calibrated. We know the LiDAR came back calibrated that day when it was turned on. There's really no reasonable question here. There's certainly no reasonable doubt that Mr. Anderson was driving at 99 miles an hour to 75, or certainly that he was driving at an unsafe rate of speed. We ask that he be found guilty and assess the maximum fine for this offense.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson, final closing statement, sir.
I don't know if that's
Okay. All right, so Mr. Anderson, the court has heard all the evidence in this case. I have no reasonable doubt. I have no doubt at all. As a matter of fact, all the evidence in the case points to the fact that you were traveling on this date, September 30th, 2021, mile marker of 318 in Bruceville-Eddy at a speed of 99 miles an hour when the speed limit was 75 miles an hour. The only evidence that you submitted was nothing to controvert the speed whatsoever, but was simply the date of your vehicle's manufacture and maybe a mistake in the VIN number. Based on the court finds you guilty of the offense, sets the fine at $200. State court costs are $134, so the total will be $334. And it's going to be due by August 30th. I'll give you to the end of the month. Okay, anything else from the parties?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, sir. And if you want a copy of the judgment, we'll give you that at the window. Again, the total amount is $334, $200 fine, and then the state court costs are $134, so the total is $334, and that's due by August 30th. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. This concludes the trial in this case.
Thank you for your time, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Justice is my attorney.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yes, he moved to a different firm.
He did.
He's handling it still. He was on my case to begin with, so